Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here today. As we know, the STAAR is quickly coming up, just a few weeks away. And as we work here together in the PLC, we want to make sure that our students are as prepared as possible for that test. So that's what we're going to be doing today, analyzing some data and trying to figure out what we can do in the next coming weeks. But before we start, some norms, or I'm going to state some norms to help us guide us throughout the meeting. Our first one is begin and end the meetings on time, which we will. The next one will be maintaining a positive attitude and using the time well. We will contribute equally and discuss concerns positively. We will actively listen and participate respectfully. We will address any violations of these norms, and we will remember our focus is on the students and their learning. Our objectives for today: we will review benchmarks and analyze the data to determine the student performance levels. We will identify the trends in student needs in their understanding, their strengths, and their areas that need improvement. And we will plan any intervention strategies to support the student's success and so that we are meeting their needs. And we will plan those targeted interventions. So through analyzing our data, we hope we can help all of our students grow and achieve in these different areas that we see we need to help them in. So let's begin by reflecting on what some of the challenges or concerns we have as we approach the STAAR test. Do you guys have any certain challenges or concerns that worry you about the coming test?
I guess one of the concerns would be, we know that they are going to be testing their reading first in April. So I guess it's always going to happen, and it has happened throughout the years, that they start slacking off, getting closer to that math. They take the reading, and then since we don't test like 2 weeks later, they start shutting down, and they're like, okay, well, I already took my reading. Now what do I have to do? And then we have to re-teach and tell them, the rules, and, you still have that math start coming up. We're not done yet. So I guess that would be one of the concerns in that area. And of course, challenges would be going back and spiraling and reteaching to those slow kids that we have to show that growth for. And we have to hit those peaks, and that's what we're going to check right now with that checkpoint.
Perfect. Anyone else? Any other concerns or challenges?
Challenges I'm facing, it's mainly the vocabulary, because our EVs are struggling a little bit, not a lot, but we do need to reteach the vocabulary.
Perfect. Yes. Anyone else?
Yes, also want to mention that as well.
Vocabulary. Yes, very, very. So thank you guys for sharing. Now let's take some time to look at our data and see what we can find by looking at it. But before we move on to that, I just want to talk about our overall, a big picture look of our last checkpoint. We grew in basically all the categories. We grew 18% in approaches, 26% in meets, and 12% in masters, so that's great. But of course, we always can work a little more to see what we can do for the students. So now, based on that, let's look at our data and go see where our students are struggling, those questions, those TEKs, so we can figure out what we should target in the next coming weeks.
So like any tick that we got under like 30%?
Yeah, let's focus on the low ones here.
Even 40.
Yes, even 40s.
49 and below.
49 and below?
Yes. Because I think 50s are, we
50s
can
are
push
good.
them up
Yeah,
there.
we
We
can
can
still
push,
yeah.
but
We want to concentrate on the ones that are below 50. I've noticed in the 20s, I have coordinating, number 26, number 33.
Was even number
I know.
one?
Number one?
Number one. I have 40% on that one.
But I think
I have a
number
33.
one was vocabulary,
Number one,
which point is located on the edge.
oh
yes,
yes,
the
yes.
edge. The edge, they get confused. They're like, okay, what is the edge? So you gotta target that vocabulary, like they're saying. This is the, and yeah. And also for number 33, horizontal distance.
Oh.
They're horizontal.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely the horizontal, and probably also starting from that point. Because they know to start at the origin, but they forget to
Yeah, those were
start
my
at that
lowest
point.
ones.
As of right now, my lowest has been the prime factorization. Number 18.
18.5. My lowest one was that question 33 with 17.
Number 18. It was order of operations. Yep.
Because number 17 was also order of operations, and that one I had very low.
My lowest was number 30, and I could be teaching them that.
Number
trade.
30, me too.
Which one was 30?
30, I had a
I
19%.
had 21%. Number
19?
30.
Okay.
Not 31.
Yeah, I was telling them, look at the, and it's here.
The numerator gets
Greater than or less than.
Yes.
And then
That
look
was
at the
tough,
numerator,
yes.
compare it to the denominator, and I teach them that trick, and.
Yeah, like it's a whole number times 1.
I would not convert it to a fraction and multiply and then simplify and then do in and out. You wanna do all that extra work, I tell them? If not, just use the trick. Less
Yeah.
than greater than. Compare the numerator to the denominator, and you don't have to do that much math.
If the numerator is greater than, then it's greater than 30.
Yes.
It's less than, it'll be less than.
And less than.
Keep it simple
Yeah.
like that.
And yep, that was
And I
my
think
second to lowest.
that was
My
my lowest.
lowest was number 29.
Same here, 29.
That was my second
What was
lowest. I
it?
got 27.
29, now I have 29%. 29? I'm 29 in the
Number
29.
29, I got 15.
And it's an inequality.
Inequality, but they gotta know
Oh,
the cross multiply.
the reading.
Ah,
The
The
reading.
The
Yeah.
words,
The
the
words.
words.
You gotta look
the
for those
wording.
keywords for that greater than or equal
Or
to.
more than, less than, equal to.
Fewer.
Words.
More
No,
Then
than.
it goes
less
back
than.
to vocabulary.
No more than.
And that
At
one, I
least.
always teach them, go and look at those keywords, stop reading everything and just go find me the fewer than. Go find me the more than, no more than, and that's in, you know, I mean, we know, we
You
all do
figure out,
that.
yeah.
And then you can go ahead and see your symbol and go match it to that keyword. But it's hard for them, because it's the first time they see that inequality symbol.
Are we
greater
gonna
than
get, what do we use
equal to.
last year for vocabulary?
Summit, but I would need to ask.
Right? Cause that one I think helped a
Because
lot.
I know
The
science
vocabulary
uses
was
Summit,
given,
but I
yes.
don't know if they have access
To math.
Cause that one was really good. I remember that one like cleared so many things with the.
Summit?
Yeah, the summary with the vocabulary.
Yeah, especially when the kids are using technology, it's very hard for them to underline or name clue words.
Oh, that's
Yes.
another challenge, I think.
Yeah.
I see that as a challenge, because they can't actually highlight.
Yes.
It's gonna be on the computer, and then they do highlight, but it's a little tricky, like it's hard
You
for
have
them
to highlight it first and then
Yeah.
choose
and
the
then select the
color.
highlight.
Yeah.
And also those students that
Sometimes
show their work on the computer, it's hard on the actual STAAR. Doing
Yeah.
their work under on the notepad or whatever they call it
Okay,
on.
they do have a little notepad, but it's not really for
Mm-mm.
math.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we do teach them to do everything on their scratch paper, for
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
but, yeah.
Sometimes they have difficulties also with zooming in, zooming
Oh,
out.
everything, yes.
Mhm.
Computers.
My next lowest was number 33, which we already
Yes.
discussed, and then the next after that is number 6. Oh, they have to deal
The
with
bench.
fractions,
The bench.
with a mixed fraction between proper fraction.
I think that's a challenge.
Anything having to do with fractions.
Yeah.
Number 6, yes. And it was a percent. Which is something we noticed on their first CBA. They were messing up on the fractions, decimals, and percents.
So if it's a number line from 0 to 1, you don't mind me asking, how would you teach them how to number that number line in between? I mean, because I'm gonna put myself on the spot. So I teach them, okay, from 0 to 1, I need you to count the gaps in between.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
sections.
that's what it
Create a
is.
function.
In between.
Create a
So
function.
the first one would be 1 out of, how many pieces do we have to
Right.
get to 1?
Yeah.
Do you want to do the same?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like one, like you have
One,
1, 2,
two,
3, 4, 5, 6, 6 out of
12. All the way to get to 1.
12, exactly. So
Yeah,
you know
6 out of
R is
12.
half.
Yeah.
And then you have 8 out of 12,
Yeah, so here would be half.
9 out of 12, and then 11 out of 12,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So then what they have to do is simplify the fraction.
There you go. I always tell them, okay, so now you're gonna have to simplify that fraction. Yeah.
And they would have to
For
change the
that.
percentage
Which
to a
would be
decimal.
And then 66 and 2/3%, they love throwing that in there, even though 33 and 1/3%.
Mhm.
I always tell them it's the
The
same
three.
thing, it's
Yeah.
just 6 repeating to infinity and beyond. Like even with the 33%, 33. But if they wanna tirar la fraction, is only gonna throw that fraction in there to throw you off.
Mhm.
Because if
Especially
you
those
divide
times.
that fraction, it's still gonna give you that 0.66. So it's the same thing, they're just trying to confuse you, because they freak out when they see fractions.
And that's another challenge in technology because the kids sometimes they try to count the little lines within the little picture provided on the computer. Sometimes they skip a line and they're counting
Yeah,
additional
because they
additional
because
numbers.
by hand they go like this, like they do their
Yeah, and
They
it's
use
hard.
their
the
actual-
jumps, they cross them off. But on the computer, it's like
It's hard to do it on the
Yeah.
computer because they can't even write on the screen.
Mhm.
Like we teach them some programs that we use, they can write on the screen and do their strategies on the screen. And when it comes to the STAAR, they can't do that.
Right, and like the way you're writing down the numbers per
Yeah.
line,
Mhm.
they cannot do that. on the
Yeah.
stars and then compare the 66 2/3%. This a little bit rigor for free.
that one was really hard actually for them.
Number 6.
I had 39%.
36.
I had 36 also.
So pretty similar.
Well,
Um, 30.
Yeah.
Me, 23, 25, I don't know, I had low 20s.
23,
And 25.
30, 34, 35.
35.
Yeah.
25.
Esos one are like low.
25 was in grade. It was 47 for me.
I had 38% and 23.
22, 23.
Well, that's your
Distributed
distributed property, huh?
No,
Right?
Oh,
that's not.
Yeah. This is like an introduction to algebra.
So then 23, what were they selecting?
Select
23.
equation.
You know what they were selecting more?
was it A?
Probably.
Yeah,
They were choosing
they were
A.
choosing A.
Yeah.
They were choosing A.
That was the biggest misconception that students they forgot to multiply the second element inside the parentheses.
Yeah.
No, like
It should have been
that,
between
but
A.
you know what? It's not fully completed because I had a bunch of them choosing A and C, but in reality it's D because
Yeah, it's the
Yeah, I have
so
The
they
distributive.
they either multiplied the first one or the second one, but in this one it's not fully multiplied. They gotta know it's D. They try to
didn't
trick
go through
them.
the full.
Yeah.
They didn't multiply the 3 times 5.
They expand it out, they don't.
Yeah, like they just got the solution. I think they chose 5x and they're like, okay, it's 5x. And then on the next one they chose, oh, it's 5 times 3. They put 15, but in reality it was D.
they were probably rushing into it. They were not looking at it carefully.
Yeah.
25
Ah,
was my
what is
lowest
25?
one.
But that's absolute value.
25 was okay.
24%.
I mean, 25%.
But we should have expected
But-
higher for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
For
but
that, yes.
it's because they didn't read probably. It says each answer might be used more than once.
Yes.
Yeah, and
So
they probably,
they probably chose one for each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They chose the opposites.
One for each.
And they're all absolute.
Mhm.
No leer.
And they think it's only one time, and they
Yeah.
don't read.
Yeah, 47%
Same.
should have definitely been
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
on a
It
question.
should've been higher because
Yeah, you're right. Such an easy one.
because it's 8, 64, 8. They're only using
It's the
numbers
same numbers.
once.
That's
Yeah.
what's confusing them. The same
See?
numbers and
Yeah.
then
But they are thinking that they have to use all
every
of
single
them.
one. When in reality, they're just using two. for all the answers. Which ones did you do like really good in?
Like the one that shine the most?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had for number 2 and 22.
Number 2, 20, yes. And I also have 34.
34. Like if they got like 70s?
Yeah.
above? I got 2, 15, and 34. Like 70 or better.
Like 20 and above.
Mhm. Which question was 2? Because almost all of us got 2,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Mm, 22.
Wow.
Oh, the relationships. Yeah.
Wow, surprise.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, surprisingly because of all the wording. Usually they have a little bit of difficulty with it.
But they're looking at the keywords.
Yes. So we just have to maybe reinforce as much as you looked at the keywords, if it's multiplying or adding times, now we just got to do the same but in inequalities.
Yes, I always tell them, what do you do 2x to get 2y?
I think because it's also narrowed down to just those two operations as opposed to other types of questions that's like, well, is it adding?
What do
Is
you
it
do?
this?
Yeah.
Is it that?
And what was also easy to do is that they could have easily gotten rid of B and C because it says both of them.
Yeah.
And you can easily tell that they're not both the same.
It's about
That's why
15.
they're using the.
15.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 2 and 15.
So on those that they did good, and maybe we can just bring it up a little bit, not as much as
Like
the
focus.
other ones, yeah. I know we have a lot that we need
Oh,
to
yes.
attack.
Yes, which
Oh,
number
for
15?
15 was very easy.
Yeah, whole numbers.
My highest was number 7.
Wow.
Wow, was that 58?
Mine was at 40, 49.
Wow, 7. You made up 58.
Surprisingly so, because they had to change it.
7. Oh, wow, they had to change the
They
fraction.
changed the fractions, yeah.
And then go find it on the number line.
So you see, they did so good in this fraction,
See.
but then in the other one.
The difference is that this number line is numbered. The other one they
That's
had to
true.
figure out in between.
Yeah. See.
Exactly.
Yeah, they have 2 negatives, which is 50-50 chances of getting either A or B.
That's true.
And then the other 50-50 chances are the 2 positives.
Yeah.
And then 27, negative 27 over 3 would be negative 9, so yeah. Okay, right away.
Yeah, if they figure out D, 21 divided by 3,
Yeah, that one,
they already had 2 answers.
Indeed.
So it could only be B or C that they had to choose.
Right.
Not, that's correct.
Mine wasn't that high.
Yeah, mine was, only was 58. But I think we're all higher than 50, right?
Yeah.
No, that was 49.
You're 49?
49.
I got 60.
I'm sure it had something to do with the improper fraction, something they probably overthought it.
Oh, like the higher. They tend to put it on the outside
Mhm.
instead of on the inside. 34.
34?
The last question.
Well, that one, in the ID, independent.
Oh, independent and dependent. Oh,
As long as they use their supplementoids,
yes.
they were good.
Number 34?
Yeah.
34. That's,
That's the highest?
I had 70 on that one.
Yeah, 78.
78. That's great. That was your highest, right?
That was that one and number 22 were the same.
2 highest. No, 22. I'm messing with 67. Oh, pendas.
22? Oh,
Pendas.
surprising. But then they messed up on the one before.
Yes.
The other pendant. For
Yeah,
the other
literally,
pendants.
Yeah, or the one after.
Or the after one that it's distributed. It's so simple.
Which is surprising because that one looks a little harder.
That one looks harder than the other ones.
Oh, this one on number 18, they probably messed up on the 7 minus 10.
Oh,
They
yeah,
probably
because of
did
a
10 minus 7
negative
and
3.
kept it as a 3.
I kept it as a positive 3 instead of a negative 3. 18, yeah, 42%. It goes drastically down.
Yeah, they had 25 honestly. So they probably did that.
Oh, 25.
Mm-hmm.
Damn,
Like one of
that
my
is a
lowest.
huge jump.
Yes.
25 and 17.
I was probably with those negatives.
Yeah.
It's a negative.
They gotta remember how to do KCO and or just
Or if you don't have enough, it's gonna be a negative, I always tell them, you don't have enough, you have 7 minus 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Negative 3.
Yeah.
They don't know what to use sometimes, they get confused when they're gonna use KCO.
Any other ones? We have 29 was very low.
29, I had a 29.
Oh yeah, we talked about
Yes.
the words. Yeah.
The one.
30 we talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
I got 36 even though it's one of the. From what I've seen lately, they've been doing okay. But now,
Oh, yeah, like now we've
Now.
covered it a lot more.
yeah,
So they all they gotta do is use the T chart or like combine all the negatives and
the
the
scoreboard.
positives. Yeah, the scoreboard.
But I don't know why it gave me a 36%. I don't know.
You're 45. But I think we kind of, like, we focused enough, but it's still like, now that we went back to ACC and we've been doing it again, I think they already like got the hint.
Yes.
So we should see a huge improvement on that question.
So probably they put the number correct, but they forgot to put the negative sign.
Ah, sí,
Oh.
también.
That happens.
Because
Yes.
it's,
It's a negative answer, no?
What question is that, 20?
No, it's a positive.
Oh, yeah, it's 18. No, it's a negative answer. Because it's
Well,
21.
that's true. Yeah, it is a negative. Yeah,
so
they,
they
yeah.
probably forgot to put that negative sign.
Negative sign. And we gotta teach them about this, no keypad.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
gotta get used to.
That's the one they're gonna see in the STAAR, right?
It's very different from the one
It's
you
very different from the one that we use in pair.
Yes.
You know, pair assessment. I mean, that's why we have to practice with them. in that
With the
area.
cambio.
Some students are still getting confused between the multiplication symbol and the X.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's another one.
And they forget the parentheses means multiplication. They forget the.
Like if you compare 20 and 21, 21 has the X. Kids are gonna say, oh, it's a multiplication with a dot.
Mm-hmm.
And the dot that
Yeah, they gotta know that it's like a variable at that point. On that question, it's a variable, and on this question, it's like the actual multiplication sign.
The dot is different.
yeah, the dot yeah, some students they see it as a decimal place also.
The last one I got low in was 14. I don't know why. Did they forget to do KCF? For me, I don't know how you guys did it.
41.
Yes. Mine was 33%.
Oh, they forgot to do KCF.
I don't know if they forgot to do KCF, what they did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought you did KCS.
I think the misconception here is that they probably got it correct, but they didn't simplify it. I think that's the only issue.
They had to simplify
Oh, they
this
had to
one?
simplify. Yes.
Oh,
Letter C is the
Wait.
answer.
Letter C is the answer. ¿Dónde está 14?
They probably were, stay with 1240.
14.
they probably chose A because they had the 40.
No, 40.
When they did A
Yeah,
times that,
that's true.
they were like, that looks close to 12.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Oh,
probably
because
chose
they
that one.
didn't do
The reduce.
The
Yeah.
reduction,
Yes,
the
the-
simplification.
I was telling you, you're in 6th grade, now you have to simplify.
Everything.
Yeah, I had
Everything.
33% of them choose A and 41% choose C. So
Yeah.
33.
Was it A?
They
It was
chose
C,
A because they didn't.
14.
But they
do
didn't
KCA.
simplify.
They chose A because they didn't do KCA.
Mine were choosing A also.
Oh, yeah, that's 15 over.
Oh.
So if you don't do KCF, you get letter A. If you do KCF, you're gonna have to simplify and you
Because
get
you
C.
wouldn't find your answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then 3 over 8 times
Yeah,
4
very good.
over
They
5.
just did-
Oh, yes.
47% children.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you would have
47%.
gotten 12 over 40, and your answer wouldn't
Some
be there.
chose
You're right.
B,
Children.
11% chose B.
You would have had to simplify
9%,
by
33% chose.
Yep.
You don't think that some
That's
kids
your-
No, that's
with,
the
That's
answer.
your answer.
And then, no, the most was A.
you don't think some kids with dyslexia are probably seeing the division as a plus?
Well, even if they
Because
don't
with
have
that little
dyslexia,
dot.
because it's so small, they gotta zoom it in,
Zoom in,
and
yes.
and they think they're adding.
It
So
does look like
that's
It does
why.
look like a plus.
Even me, I'm like, is that a?
Yeah.
It's happened a lot of times that they ask me in like their pair assignments. Is that a division?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Oh man. Zoom in.
And how do we do with number 15? Classify rational.
Oh, that one
That
was
was
one of our
good.
highest.
Yes,
you know.
73%.
No, I got 61.
67.
Oh, higher. I hope.
1574.
Hopefully with the reviews.
Yeah, with
That one will be okay.
That one I think you went last year.
43.
What?
What did he say? What does it say? Asking not correctly spaced.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
like-
Here, not.
Also
Yes,
that.
negative
Yeah.
5. Not. Yeah.
That probably was the mistake.
Yeah.
Didn't read the not.
Did I see number
And
6?
then they also get sometimes confused because they're like, negative 5 is part of the integers, but where is it placed? Like,
Yeah.
lo que a veces se confunden.
Yeah.
It's part of a whole number, like
Place it where
integers
it
are part of
belongs.
whole, but it's where is it placed?
Place it first, and then it can always work its way out. I always tell them, place it if it's a whole
It can
number,
go out.
but it can always classify it and work its way out. to integers.
There were two, because
There were
even
two
the
that
decimal.
was 0.25.
I was like, why does the decimal?
So maybe some of them didn't even pick the second one.
Uh-huh.
Select
Probably
two
también.
Si no, no
select
acabaron
two
de
correct
leer.
answers,
Sí,
because
aquí
it
dice.
will
Yeah.
get more
They
confused.
probably were like, just
Select
one.
two correct answers.
Especially the ones that just want to finish. They're probably-
Correct, yeah. They're correct.
So
They're in the
it's-
Majority.
Yes, that's very confusing.
Yeah, it's a word.
Yeah.
It's the wording,
don't
it's
like
not
that.
right. Which numbers are not correctly placed in the diagram, but then select two correct answers.
Yes,
So the
it's
kids are
like,
thinking,
yeah, well, exactly. It's the wording correct.
yeah, they're confused. I think that was the major
I know.
issue there.
Yes.
Number 16, you said?
I saw number 16, but I think what confuses them is they forget that the
It's
arrows
ending
point.
at 0.
Points to the answer.
Which one gives you a
Yes,
solution?
because a lot of them would end up picking like A or C.
And yeah,
Number 16.
that was last year's STAAR
Because
question.
it's 3 groups of -3, they would choose that one, but the answer is not 0.
I tell them to solve, I started to, this year, you're
Yeah.
gonna solve every
Oh, I've been
single one of
telling
them, and then you're gonna
Yes.
circle where the last
That's what I tell them.
movement of the arrow is. You know, I won't, they can't circle it, right, but
But
you know what I mean.
Identify
On the
it.
paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're writing it down. Your answer has to be equal to 0, so solve all of them, but which one gives you 0?
Okay, so which ones are the top teaks we need to target specifically? I know we talked
Coordinate
about
plane.
coordinate plane,
Which is,
especially edge, the word
Coordinate
edge.
6.11a.
Yeah. And moving from
6.11a, and then the one was 6.11, no, 6.11a también.
that was number
Oh.
1. There was 2 of them.
And
right?
it's 6.1b.
Number 1 and number.
Yeah, because of the horizontal is 6.1b.
The 33. Number 1 and 33.
1 and 33.
That's one of them. Is there any other one? 29 was another one we were talking about. So we have
We said
6.11a, what other one?
29 and 30, no, eran las que estaban, they were like.
29 was the inequality one.
And then
6.19.
29 was the
6.19.
keywords.
Yeah, the keyword.
And the greater than, the 30. The 30, that. 30
So
is
inequalities.
30 was what?
inequalities. The greater than or less than.
Oh,
6.3.
The 30.
Coordinate plane was number 1 and number 30.
6.3b and 6.9c. Esos dos. 6.9c and 6.3.
So we have
33,
number 1,
and then number 4.
number 33. Number 4 wasn't that bad.
54. I got 34%.
Which one? Oh, the relationship. I have 14. So we have 6.11a, 6.9c, 6.3b. Anything else? I mean, I know we're gonna have to target a lot of them. $14 or $18?
Number 18.
18 pending order of operations.
Yeah, that one, like a 50.
Number 18 would be 6.78.
6.7. It was order of operations.
I got number 25, which is 6.3. The opposite, remember the absolute value?
Oh, yeah.
Just to teach them, anything like that, you can always reuse the
Yes.
number ones.
You have to read it.
Read carefully. What are they asking for? Absolute value or the opposite?
So this checkpoint, they didn't introduce the topics that we still haven't teach yet.
No. Right now in the next one, they're
So
gonna.
that'll be my next question.
Yes.
That one would be our true. True.
Financial literacy and
Like,
geometry.
I went through this, I was like, I can't find anything with areas or measurements.
No. We chose some of them, so let's see what are our next steps. What are we gonna do in the next coming weeks? What is our plan?
Kind of action.
Yes, our action plan.
Well, we do have to spiral. I believe we should throw those problems into our problems of the day.
Spiral.
We have to spiral, definitely.
Problem of the day.
Problem.
Also, we have small group interventions.
Small group.
We have tutorials.
Tutorials.
Tutorial.
Target those teachers, not tutorials
Yes.
as well.
We have programs such as IXL,
Yes.
iReady, to support the students for additional support and help.
And we need to target that vocabulary.
With the 7K12.
Yeah.
That's some.
So we're gonna do spiraling. We're gonna do interventions, tutorials, small group. Anything else?
Provide additional resources and reteach. More vocabulary, repetition.
Yeah. More practice. I think we'll be good. A lot we need to target.
So, it's gonna help once we are, in math, we're almost done teaching, so
Yeah.
we're gonna start already with those readiness standards, and then in ACC, we're gonna be doing the supporting standards. Or, I don't know, what our plan
Our
would be
plan,
back
yes.
coming up. But for now, yes, targeting those teams right before the checkpoint would, benchmark would be very helpful.
Especially in the small days we have. How many days?
We have 2 weeks,
What do I?
Or benchmark.
benchmark. So we can target those teams as we're reviewing for the benchmark itself on that Thursday and Friday.
Yeah. We can even use them for the.
There you
The
go.
PO days, yeah. Especially the ones that they go wrong a lot. The ones that, the teams that we have to target even more. Well, that will be our plan then.
Yes.
Thank you so much, you guys, for working together and figuring out what we can do for the next coming weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.